Hello, Richview Nation, and welcome back to another episode of the Richview Roundup. I am your host, Colton Richards. This week, we recap the volleyball team's regular season finale, the soccer team's matches, softball wins, the football team's win against Northeast, and the cross country team's meet this past weekend. Also highlighted in this episode, the high school football team's big win against McGavock at home and the Tennessee Titans game. Let's recap this past week. On Monday, in soccer, the Richview Blue ladies soccer team won against Kenwood 8-0. Here's how they got that result. Lizzie Duell had 3 goals, Lily Hobson had a goal, Maddie Kimsey had a goal, Olivia Atkins had a goal, Charlotte Guzik had a goal, and Vivian Tarabon had a goal. The Richview White squad won 5-0. In volleyball, Richview played Kirkwood. The varsity won in 3 sets. The first one was 26-24 Kirkwood, yet Richview rallied and won the next 2 sets, 25-20 and 15-7. In JV action, the first set was 25-12 for Richview and then lost the second 23-25. Again, like varsity, our JV rallied back for the win in the tiebreaker, coming out on top 15-13. On Tuesday, the football team played against Northeast. Isaiah Ligon had 8 carries for 179 yards and 3 touchdowns, and threw for a touchdown pass and kicked 2 extra points. Devontae Cruel had a 60-yard touchdown reception. Ransley Wares had a 20-yard touchdown as well as a 55-yard interception return for a touchdown. Jamie Cole had 3 carries for 30 yards and an extra point. Kenyon Carbon had 4 carries for 34 yards. Wyatt Wade had 2 tackles for loss. Joshua Hernandez had 3 tackles. Craig Jackson had 3 tackles and 3 pass breakups. Makai Craig had a tackle for loss and an interception. Dean Cole, William Hester, and Kingston Shedrick each had a fumble recovery, and Keegan Russell had a forced fumble. On Wednesday, the volleyball team had their regular season finale versus Rossview. Rossview won in 2. Both sets had a score of 25-22. However, our JV girls won over Rossview. The Lady Cat softball team won games on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday of last week. On Friday, the Clarksville High School football team played against McGavock at home for Military Appreciation Night. The final score was 56-0, thanks to long touchdown runs and pick sixes. This past Saturday was the cross-country team's Mustang Stampede meet. The race was another 4K, which is about 2.5 miles. The top times for the boys were 17:41 for Ian Stone, 19:27 for Makai Craig, and 20:32 for Thomas Hunt. The girls' top times were 1907 for Maxine East, 2018 for Mayori Flores, and 2027 for Alexandria Coughlin. Congrats on a great meet. This past Sunday in Nashville, the Titans played the Indianapolis Colts, an AFC South Division rival. The final score of that game was 41-20, so the Titans are now 0-3. Thank goodness we have our high school team to give us our wins since our NFL team continues to fall short. On the Cowboy calendar this week, we start with soccer on Monday. Montgomery Central plays Richview White at 6 p.m. on Field 12 at Heritage Park, then at Field 13 at 7:30. Richview Blue plays Northeast. Also on Monday, our volleyball team plays Montgomery Central in their quarterfinal match, which is being played at Northeast High School. On Tuesday, the Lady Cats have a home softball game against Kenwood. On Wednesday, the football team plays Kenwood in a rematch of last year's championship game, and it is Military Appreciation Night as well as Richview Student Night. All active duty and retired military get in free. And students at Richview have free admission as well. On Thursday, the softball team plays at Montgomery Central at 6 p.m. On Friday, the Clarksville High School football team travels to West Creek to begin the second half of the season. On Saturday, the cross-country team has their regional meet. And on Sunday, the Titans travel to Houston to play the Texans at noon on CBS. Now it is time for my keys to victory. This week's keys go to the football team for their game against Kenwood. Key number 1, play smart. Whatever you do, do not commit any momentum-killing penalties. It can benefit you if you can execute in the right place at the right time. Key number 2, familiarize yourself with your opponent. They played Kenwood in the championship last year, with Richview winning 50-24. And key number 3, never give up. If you find yourself in a double-digit deficit at halftime, there have been many occasions in the past where a team overcame that deficit and wound up securing the victory. In other words, don't count yourself out of it. And that will do it for this episode of the Richview Roundup. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you like this video, make sure to subscribe and ring the bell so you do not miss any future content. This has been a presentation of the Richview Roundup, a CJR Entertainment production. This program was hosted, written, and produced by Colton Richards. Stay classy, Cowboys Nation.